What's up, guys? It is Dan and Nick back with another episode of F1 2021 co-op career mode in the Red Bull and the McLaren. It's that time of the season once again, the double header in which we don't finish either of these races, and we're starting off the day with Monaco, quite possibly the worst track on the entire calendar. Great if you're a rich person gambling, not so great if you're trying to drive a car. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, the notification bell and the like button so you can catch the next race, which will actually be a good one as we go onto the starting grid. Here are the drivers starting at the front. It's going to be Lewis Hamilton and Lando Norris, but not necessarily in that order. I was reading them the wrong way round. Behind them we have Guan Yu Zhou, Yuki Tsunoda, Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc at his home Grand Prix, then Pierre Gasly and Robert Schwartzman, Max Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas, the former world champion, followed by George Russell, Nicholas Latifi, Lance Stroll, Antonio Giovinazzi, Esteban Ocon, Nikita Mazepin, Christian Lundgaard, Mick Schumacher, and at the back your favourite drivers, it's Radiant Slothz and Justin Freshbot with a terrible qualifying and what will undoubtedly be a terrible race. Let's get to it.
The Monaco Grand Prix.
There's absolutely no audio because, well, it's this. On board with Radiant Sloth surprisingly changed his car back to blue just for the special occasion of the Monaco Grand Prix. Justin Freshbot also starting at the back with him as they follow the procession around Monaco for up to 20 laps, but it won't be 20 laps, will it?
It might be 20 laps if you combine the laps from all the drivers, but that could still be unlikely. Justin Freshbot gets ahead of Radiant Sloths.
Radiant Sloths did think about going back past his former teammate and then thought better of it. And now they just follow this train of cars around very slowly around Monaco. Big chunk of curb there. Radiant Sloth's dropping back on the medium tyres, has a look at his downforce. Lap 3 now, Justin Freshbot chasing
No
Mick
overtakes yet. Stuck behind a Haas, really showing the benefits of Monaco with these massively wide cars under the current regulations.
Of course, yep. And somebody said that they weren't allowed to bulldoze the streets in order to make the track wider. A poor decision, if you ask me. As Justin Freshbot still, he's going to line up on Mick Schumacher in the tunnel. Radiant Sloth still not able to keep up on this awful circuit. And we'll see, does he make a move? He does not. He follows behind once again. Radiant Sloth's watching. What is Justin Freshbot going to do next? He's got a light flashing.
Crash. That is very off the racing line from Justin Freshbot there.
Has he got damage? He might have damage. He's going slow. I think there's an end plate missing.
He's pitting.
He's got into the pits. That is pit stop number 1.
Radiant Sloths makes an overtake.
Into the tunnel section. Can Radiant Sloths make a move on Mick Schumacher? He gets close. He locks up. He misses the corner.
And cuts the corner.
Mick Schumacher laughing at him in his mirrors. And Radiant Sloths will do his best into the swimming pool section. Goes wide.
Massively misses the apex and almost spins on the next one.
Incredible catch. Coming around the final corner. What will he do? Will he crash? Now we're back into the swimming pool section once again. Takes a lot of curb. This time, much tighter line. Doesn't cut the corner. Mick Schumacher is in danger of being the first man to be overtaken on track at this circuit. Against Radiant Sloths of all people. Overtakes on. He's lining up. He gets past Robert Schwartzman in the pit lane. He's made a massive mistake.
Radiant Sloths hits 2 walls somehow. Incredible. Gets a warning for his efforts.
Completely overcut that. Robert Schwartzman's catching him. And there's the rest of the front wing going in the swimming pool section. He's trying his best to get round. His former teammate is just around the corner, and he's in the way as he comes around into Raskas.
Massive illegal blocking here.
He can't turn the
Justin
car.
Freshpot loses a lot of time.
He comes into the pit lane.
I'm 90% sure that said that he was going 37 and the speed limit's 36 at the top there. But the stewards turn a blind eye.
Stewards don't care because he races for Red Bull, so he can do whatever he likes. And we go back on track again. Justin Freshpot still alive. 30 seconds at the... Oh, and he's teeing out. That was very
up.
bad timing. Radiant Slothz, can he make it further than half the race distance? He's spun on the car. He's blown up.
The wheel's gone.
He's destroyed his Red Bull. And that is the end of another Monaco Grand Prix. As is typical on this channel, it ended in complete disaster. Radiant Slothz storms off. And Lando Norris with another chance podium. How does he do it? This man must be holding a rabbit's foot somewhere in his racing suit. Yuki Tsunoda also getting on the podium somehow. He must have had a very good lap in qualifying. And Lewis Hamilton once again missing out on another win. You've got to say that driver is not on form and is not delivering.
But not one, a massive number of races.
Somehow still at that team. And there we have it. That was the end of the Monaco Grand Prix. Time for another Wreckfest coming up. We know the top three already. It was Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton and Yuki Tsunoda, and they were followed by Guan Yu Zhou, Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, Pierre Gasly, Nicolas Latifi and Valtteri Bottas, though relatively unchanged from the starting order. So over in the drivers' standings, it's Lando Norris extending his lead once again. Lewis Hamilton now being caught by Guan Yu Zhou, his teammate. Charles Leclerc and Justin Freshpot follow them, and then it's Yuki Tsunoda, Sergio Perez, Radiant Slothz, who is still holding on to a top 10 position, Robert Schwartzman and Pierre Gasly. In the constructors, Red Bull extend their lead once again over Mercedes, and Ferrari extend the gap between them and McLaren. And as one race ends, another one begins. We're now starting round 5 at Azerbaijan. Another race which we historically have not done particularly well at. On this occasion, though, this was just an issue of forgetting to hit save replay at the end of the race. So unfortunately, we have to endure 13 laps of me driving around in the in-game camera with all of the telemetry on the screen. But besides being a terrible race, let's get to the grid. And it's Lando Norris once again with another lucky pole position, followed by Justin Freshpot in second in his McLaren. Behind them, we have Robert Schwartzman in the other McLaren and Lewis Hamilton, then Charles Leclerc and Guan Yu Zhou, Yuki Tsunoda and Max Verstappen, and to round at the top 10, it's the Alpha Tauris of Gasly and Latifi, followed by Perez, Bottas, Giovinazzi, Lundgaard, Russell and Mick Schumacher, Esteban Ocon, Nikita Mazepin, and at the back it's Radiant Slothz, who crashed in qualifying, and Lance Stroll. Now let's get on with the second race of this video. The Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
On board of Radiant Slothz.
At the back
Justin Freshpot nowhere to be seen, probably ahead.
Radiant
somewhere.
Slothz crashed in qualifying multiple times, but somehow still out-qualified Lance Stroll. As he comes around, he gets 2 overtakes into turn 1, one of them being... Oh no, one overtake on Mazepin, who is a dangerous driver, and then gets hit by Nikita Mazepin because Mazepin doesn't like him.
That's mostly Radiant Sloth's fault, but he refuses to ever accept blame as he looks up the inside here.
His chance
almost
on
hits the wall.
He has to run wide because he's not sure what the Russian will do. He hits the barrier, overtake on, and he gets past. There's some engine issues. It looks as though on his MFD there, probably the gearbox. And now he'll be lining up on Mick Schumacher, coming down the corner that he just somehow couldn't drive round properly in qualifying. He did make it this time. Mick Schumacher lined up
Justin Freshpot, potentially the McLaren in second. It's unlikely to be Robert Schwartzman.
Well, that's where you're wrong, Nick. It is actually Robert Schwartzman in second place. Justin Freshpot is at the back of the field after an earlier incident.
No. Justin Freshpot about to overtake Norris for the win. What a race.
Valtteri Bottas, the former world champion, now being lined up to be overtaken by Radiant Slothz. An embarrassing thing to happen for any driver, especially a former world champion. And that was not a difficult move for him. Although he did make an absolute dog's breakfast in the braking zone for turn 1 and has hit Bottas as a yellow flag there and bins it into the wall.
And he's driven it into the wall for no reason.
He reverses into another car. It looks like it was Mazepin. And he'll look to try and get past him now. Recover some positions. Justin Freshpot now behind Bottas. Coming into turn 3. Gets the right line. Mazepin attempting to crash into Radiant Slothz. Doesn't get him. And now he goes to overtake Mick Schumacher for the second time in this race.
The Red Bull here, a superiorly faster car, but he is losing to 2 Aston Martins and an Haas.
The Aston Martin's doing terrible.
2 Aston Martins.
That's a fastest sector 3 for Radiant Slothz. Lance Stroll doing well. He's overtaken 4 or 5 people now with little work done. But now he's about to be overtaken by Radiant Slothz once again. He's got him before the DRS zone. And he's quite comfortably passed. Up the road, Esteban Ocon comes into the pits, promotes him up another position. In fact, a few people are in the pit lane now. Radiant Slothz seeing the points for the first time. And he's got Robert Schwartzman up his inside. Schwartzman hits the Red Bull for no reason and drives
Red Bull
off.
Turning in there and crashing into the McLaren. There's the warning to confirm whose fault it was, as Radiant Slothz swerves down the main straight.
He gets past
dangerously.
Giovinazzi. He's up into P7, P5 now. Amazing from Radiant Slothz at a circuit that he's historically not done very well at. And he comes into the pits.
As he decides to retire the car and retire from Formula 1.
He is
a noble decision. As he cannot compete with Lando Norris, he's decided to give up.
Look at all of these.
He takes a new front wing, as is tradition for every Radiant Slothz pit stop. And the team bill him for the new parts.
He's about to be overtaken by literally everybody, but he is the only car out there on the softs compared to those around him. Will Mick Schumacher get the jump on him? Not on this occasion. He has managed to survive somehow. Nearly locks up into the wall, and he's on his way. And it's everybody's favourite driver. It's Lance Stroll.
One of the Haas cars has given up. A yellow flag ahead, but it's cleared before Radiant Slothz can try and make an overtake.
Lance Stroll, a sitting duck right now. He's illegally blocking. Radiant Slothz goes up the inside anyway. He does not hit the Aston Martin. And now behind Esteban Ocon. There's multiple cars here. There's 6 cars between him and the points, and they're all fairly grouped together. All bit of a moment there. Here we go. DRS is open. Overtake is on. No, DRS is now open. Overtake is on. Esteban Ocon trying to be French in front of him. Radiant Slothz lurches to the inside. Doesn't make anything happen. Russell and Giovinazzi crash into each other up ahead. Esteban Ocon tries to make the most of this. Massive lockup from him. Radiant Slothz just watches on for the time being. Justin Freshpot, by the way, now up to 4th behind one of the Ferraris. Esteban Ocon moving all over the place in the braking zone, but is not able to defend, and Radiant Slothz slides on past. Or at least he thought he did. Ocon nearly comes back at him. Now behind George Russell and Giovinazzi. Russell struggling. I don't think he's going to be able to do much here against the Red Bull. He's way too close. Overtake is on. And he's passed before the DRS line. Almost.
Brilliant. Slothz now looking to crash into Giovinazzi for no reason.
Giovinazzi moves to the braking zone. Radiant Slothz up the inside. Massive lock up. The Aston Martin hits him for no reason. He gets past quite safely. And now on to the final lap. Radiant Slothz comes around turn 1. What's he going to do? He's very close to the barrier. He's made a massive error.
And for some reason, he's driven into a flat wall next to the side of the track. Incredible. As Justin Freshbot gets a P4.
He jumps the Ferrari at the finish line, who was caught napping. What a stupid thing for him to do. He didn't even defend that. He goes past and it says Christian Lundgaard gets driver of the day. I'll tell you who didn't get driver of the day. It's whoever was driving that other Ferrari. Is it Yuki Tsunoda? What a terrible bit of driving.
Red Bull, of course, with only one driver competing in this championship, Lando Norris really having to carry the whole weight on his back. He picks up another win somehow as the team celebrate as the other half of the garage is probably fired as they're no longer needed.
Lando Norris, I think that's his 4th victory in a row. Congratulations to him. But that luck has to come to an end eventually. Robert Schwartzman
incredibly gets a podium. Potentially one of the worst drivers McLaren has ever hired. But he picks up a podium.
Lewis Hamilton.
Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton have no idea who Schwartzman is.
All they know is that Hamilton still hasn't won a race. But maybe he will get one next time. Robert Schwartzman, terrible driver. That's the end. And there we have it, the top 10 for the second race of the day. It's Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton, and to the surprise, Robert Schwartzman on the podium. Justin Freshbot, Charles Leclerc, Yuki Tsunoda, Max Verstappen, Pierre Gasly, Nicholas Latifi, and Guan Yu Zhou make up the rest of the top 10. Lando Norris extends his lead once again over Lewis Hamilton, who is now defending from Charles Leclerc, Guan Yu Zhou, and Justin Freshbot, who all are in contention to overtake him for that P2 position. Yuki Tsunoda, another driver who could actually take the second place alongside Robert Schwartzman. Then it's Sergio Perez, Max Verstappen, Pierre Gasly round up the top 10 as Radiant Slothz drops down into P11. Over in the Constructors, Red Bull remain ahead of Mercedes and Ferrari remain ahead of McLaren. We'll catch you in the next one.